Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at a rich stack of sources you sent us, all covering the foundational practices of Buddhist life, specifically in the Thai tradition.
That's right. And what's so fascinating is how they show this deep connection between, high philosophy and the surprisingly practical rules that you need to sustain it all.
Our mission here is to really extract the facts and expose some of the surprising rules that govern this tradition. And you'll see how something like a farmer's complaint is just as important as a king's decision to seek nibbana.
Exactly. The material really shows that it's all one continuous spectrum. Every single rule, every piece of etiquette, it's all designed to make sure that the ultimate spiritual goal, which is, victory over death itself, remains achievable.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's start at the very beginning. Asalha Puja. The sources call it worship in the Asalha month. What made this one day so incredibly pivotal?
Well, it's basically the birth moment of what's called the triple gem. It's the first time those three core pillars of Buddhism were fully formed and present in the world together.
Before this, you just had the Buddha, the enlightened one.
You had the Buddha, yes. But the Dharma, the teaching, and the Sangha, the community of monks, hadn't been formally established.
And that all starts with the teaching. He delivered his first discourse, the famous Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. What was the core of that?
The core was the Four Noble Truths. It's the entire roadmap. Suffering, or dukkha, the cause of suffering.
Samudaya.
Right? Then the cessation of suffering, nirodha, and finally the path to that cessation, the magga. But what's really incredible is the setting.
Yeah, this wasn't some huge sermon in a capital city.
Far from it. This world-changing announcement was given to an audience of just 5 ascetics, the Panyakavagya.
5 people, that's it.
That's it. That tiny group was the very first seed of the Sangha. The start was just incredibly humble.
That's profound. So the moment the teaching was done, the triple gem solidified. What happened next?
That's key event number 2. One of those 5, a man named Kondanyanya, he immediately attained enlightenment right there on the spot.
The eye of the Dharma opened, as the sources say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he asked to be ordained, and in that moment, he became the very first monk, the first Sangha.
So in that single day, you have the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, all present in the world for the very first time.
All 3. Which is why today, lay practice is all about recollection. People make merit, listen to sermons, and they do the Vientiane, the walking meditation around a stupa. It's a moment of profound spiritual renewal.
Okay, so moving from that founding moment to the seasonal rhythm of the community, the Vasa or the rains retreat. This is where the sources give us a fantastic paradox.
Oh, absolutely.
The creation of this essential 3-month rule, it wasn't driven by some need for deeper meditation, but something way more down to earth.
It's a perfect example of the mundane influencing the transcendent.
Yeah.
See, originally, monks just traveled all year round. That only changed because the lay community, specifically farmers, they complained to the Buddha.
They complained.
About what?
Agriculture. And inadvertent killing. When monks walked through the fields during the rainy season, they were accidentally stepping on the farmers' brand new rice seedlings.
Damaging their crops.
Damaging their livelihood. And on top of that, the rains bring out all these tiny insects and creatures, and the monks were inadvertently killing them, which, violates the principle of non-harming.
So Vasa became this mandatory rule, not for spiritual retreat initially, but as a practical, almost environmental and agricultural protection mandate.
Precisely. For 3 months, you must stay in one place. And the rule is strict. If you leave overnight and can't get back before dawn, you've broken dasa.
But the Vinaya, the monastic code, has this beautiful flexibility, doesn't it? Even with a rule that strict, the sources list these very compassionate exceptions.
They do, and this reveals so much. It's immense spiritual strictness balanced with a surprising compassion for just human necessity.
Tell us about the 7-day exception, the Sadhakariya. A monk can leave for up to 7 days, but only for truly essential duties. Things like caring for a sick fellow monk or even an ailing parent.
And I saw this in the source intervening in another monk's life.
Yes. If you hear that another monk is on the verge of disrobing, of leaving the order, you are permitted to travel for up to 7 days to go and try to stop them.
Wow. That's considered a critical community duty.
Absolutely. Same as repairing major temple damage or accepting a special invitation from a layperson for a big merit-making ceremony.
What about moving permanently during Vasa? There are 5 really specific reasons a monk can just pick up and relocate.
Right. And these usually involve some kind of danger. If your residence is threatened by, say, robbers or a fire or a flood, you can leave. Or if food and medicine just become too scarce to survive.
The one that really stood out to me, though, was the emotional escape clause.
Yes. It's amazing if a monk is being tempted by wealth or by women, anything that might undermine his vows, he is formally granted permission to flee immediately.
So it's a formal recognition of human fragility. You can physically remove yourself from temptation to preserve your spiritual commitment.
It's a retreat from the world to save the ultimate retreat. And beyond just protecting rice sprouts, this whole period creates stability. For the monks, it's a time for deep study. For the lay community, it's a chance for special merit making, like offering the rain bathing cloth.
Okay, let's get down to the daily foundation then. Almsgiving. Talk bat. The sources stress this isn't just a ritual, it's the whole economic engine of the Sangha.
It is. Monks can't handle money, they can't work. So this third gem, the Sangha, relies completely on lay support. But, and this is the key takeaway, you, the layperson, have to use wisdom, not just faith.
Because if you do it wrong, you can actually cause the monk to violate the Vinaya. You could give them bad karma.
You absolutely can. Let's start with etiquette. Respect, it's measured by elevation. You should not wear shoes or stand on a place that is higher than the monk.
So if you're on the sidewalk and he's on the road, you step down.
You step down, it's a simple physical show of respect for his path.
And what about the food itself? The full bowl offense.
Right. Never, ever force food into a monk's bowl if it's already full. And definitely don't ask him to flip the lid over to pile more on.
Why not?
Because accepting food when the bowl is overflowing is a formal monastic offense for him. It's an apathy. Your good intention just caused him a real problem.
That completely flips the dynamic, doesn't it? The giver has to be mindful of the receiver's rules.
Exactly. And with meat, it's very specific. You can offer normal everyday food, but you cannot kill an animal specifically with the intention of giving that meat to a monk.
And the monk has to refuse it if he even suspects that's what happened.
He must. It puts the ethical burden squarely on the layperson's intent.
What about fruit? Why does it have to be whole?
It's about logistical charity. Any leftovers are given away, and whole uncut fruit just keeps longer. It's easier for the temple to donate it to others without it going to waste.
The sources also mention this surprising debate around things like flowers and incense. You'd think that's a perfect offering.
You would. But it's this conflict between pure faith and strict rules. For a monk, smelling flowers is technically an offense, and carrying them is just awkward.
So if he throws them away, the donor might feel their gift was wasted.
Right, and this is where the source's argument is just stunning. It's as if you, the donor, worry about what the monk does with your gift. You're turning your active merit into a non-meritorious one.
So the real spiritual work is for the giver to let go of their own ego.
Exactly. You have to relinquish control over the gift. If you can't, the source says it's better not to give at all.
That is a powerful lesson in non-attachment. So one last practical tip for big holy days.
Yes. On days like Asalha Puja, temples get flooded with fresh food. So it's actually much more helpful to offer dry goods, rice, staples. The temples can then donate the surplus to hospitals and orphanages. It just maximizes the charitable impact.
We've covered the holy days, the daily discipline. Now for the ultimate commitment, nekkhamma, renunciation. The decision to just walk away from everything. What drives that?
Renunciation is defined as leaving behind all worldly pleasures to accumulate nekkhamma barami, the perfection of renunciation. And the ultimate goal for doing that is victory over death, nibbana.
The story of Prince Yokokumara really frames the stakes here in almost mythological terms.
It does. I mean, here's a bodhisattva whose mother was cursed by an ogress that ate her previous children. To save him, the king builds an iron house.
Yeah.
And Yoka lives inside it, in the dark, until he's 16.
So his whole youth is just darkness, isolation. What happens when he finally steps out?
He has this terrifying realization. He thinks his 10 months in the dark womb and 16 years in the dark iron house were like a living hell. But then he realizes that leaving the iron house just leads to aging, sickness, and death.
He escaped one prison only to find himself in a much, much bigger one.
The prison of samsara, the cycle of rebirth. So he concludes that renunciation is the only way out, the only way to defeat Yama, the king of death.
And he lays this all out for his father in the famous 13 Arguments Against Yama.
Yes, he argues that all earthly power is useless against death. No army can conquer Yama. No archer can harm him. Even powerful spirits can't sway him.
The final point being that a king can punish a human criminal, but no king can ever punish Yama.
Right. The message is that everything decays. The only permanent escape is renunciation. And you see that same urgency in the story of King Suddasoma.
A king of a vast, successful kingdom who decides to ordain immediately after seeing one gray hair.
Just one. He proclaimed it was the unmistakable sign of aging and that he had to go. Now.
And his family, they tried to stop him.
Oh, the human cost was immense. His 700 wives, his parents, his pregnant queen who begged him not to leave her a widow during childbirth. They offered him everything.
But he wouldn't budge.
He insisted it was all impermanent. He saw the sign from Yama and had to act. But here's the most paradoxical part. He tells his younger brother Somahat that he has to stay behind to govern.
Wait, he forbids his own devoted brother from joining him. He essentially forces his brother to stay tangled in worldly affairs.
That's the profound tension of the story. Sudasoma leaves alone, renouncing everything, but he consciously sacrifices his brother's immediate spiritual progress for the community's stability. He feared if they both left, the whole kingdom would follow them and society would just collapse.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner? We've gone from a founding sermon for 5 people to the daily etiquette of almsgiving, and finally to a king renouncing an entire kingdom over a single gray hair.
And what we've extracted shows that Buddhist practice is this seamless spectrum. The practical rules, the vasa, the full bowl, they ensure the sangha is stable so that the highest spiritual goal is even possible.
Every single interaction, from a bowl of rice to a throne, is governed by this pursuit of nirvana.
Exactly, the goal of defeating Yama, the king of death. The path requires both the highest commitment and the most mindful attention to the smallest daily acts.
Which leaves you with a final provocative thought to mull over. King Sutasoma achieved the perfection of renunciation by giving up everything. Yet to do so, he had to impose worldly duty on his brother, forcing him to stay behind and manage the kingdom. If the path to absolute freedom requires you to sacrifice another spiritual progress for the sake of community stability, how does the perfection of renunciation balance the needs of the self versus the needs of others?